Hey guys, Fediboba here with a quick, easy guide on stats. This is more of how to play rather than how the system works. If you want an in-depth guide on that, I do have one, link in the descriptions and all that fun stuff. But this one, it's more like just telling you what's a good idea to do. From new game would be the best to follow this. So just to make sure you know, strength gives you a damage bonus as a percent. So at 99 strength, that was 6 hits with an axe that doesn't even have the teeth or glass upgrade, and 11 at 20. So there's quite a difference there. And again, because it's a percent bonus, the stronger your weapon is in the damage department, the greater a bonus you receive from the strength. That's just simply, 100% of 2 is quite different than 100% of 20. Now, to make sure we're all on the same page, the bottom right, of course, is the stomach. The liquid, the thirst, has nothing to do with your stats, but if you don't drink, you will die. It will deplete faster than your stomach. Your stomach stays at this red flashing for a while, and then will slowly fill up with a red bar. If the red bar hits the top, you take damage, and it'll accelerate over time. You should never, ever see the red stomach bar, however, because that means something's really going wrong with your diet plan. What we're going to be doing is, as soon as you hit that red flashing X, eat a large dried meat. Throw away the small meats. Don't use them. Only use large dried meat or large cooked meat, and prepare it before you hit the flashing red X. This is easiest done with dried meat, but sometimes you just didn't have it prepared yet. So now that we're taking stomach damage, it's going to accelerate and we're going to take damage faster and faster each time. But keep in mind, we've already accelerated time, so it'll be slower in actuality. Keep a dried meat on you, especially when you're going into the caves. That is beneficial. You want a drying rack. This is going to be your best buddy. In fact, make multiples. So as you see at the left here, we have all of our stats in value format. The stomach actually it shows it looks full at 80% or more, but it's okay because the 50% where the red X shows up, that's fine. That's actually 49%, but it'll look like 50% too. So as soon as we hit that red flashing X, boom, eat. Open your inventory. You already got it ready. Dried meat. That's it. This is your diet. Red X, dried meat. Red X, dried meat. Red X, dried meat. This is how you're going to eat forever, rest of the game. Ignore everything else unless you have to eat it. If you need it for the energy, you need it for the thirst, like the berries, then okay. The longer you keep this good diet, the harder it is to mess it up in the future though. Like, I can drink a whole bunch of sodas now and nothing happens to my character for whatever reason. But it's really easy to mess up in the beginning, so try to say meat only. I eat a meat at 50%, wham, right up to 100%. Now, to get meat, because you're going to only eat meat, use a spear. It's beautiful, it works. You can use it for the fish too, that's fine. But the spear is going to be your best friend. It works on crocodiles, it works on turtles. Basically, you just want to be making sure you're eating large meat. All the other meats are going to make it more difficult to balance and unnecessary. Just skip them. You're going to get 4 large meat from killing one of these deers. You throw that all up on a rack. It's going to be super easy once you get going. And the first day you may need to cook some meat though, because you don't want to be punishing yourself until the dried meat is ready. Again, spear will be perfect. You will be drowning in meat once you start using the spear. And that's literally the diet. Red X, eat a large meat, dried or cooked. Alright, now I want to leave with some other information. If you have an up arrow or a down arrow on your weight, that means something has gone wrong. Up probably means you're eating too soon or you're eating unhealthy foods like candy, bars, and sodas. Try never to eat those candy bars or sodas. If you're eating too soon, again, when you hit the red X, large meat, that's always safe. The second you hit the red X and you eat a large meat, you cannot be gaining weight unless something else is happening. If the arrow's going down, it probably means you're waiting way too long to eat that meat. Now, if you have either one of those arrows and not one to the right means stabilized, that's good. If you have either of those arrows, you will need to be very careful with how many trees you cut down. If you've cut down a lot of trees recently and you have that up or down arrow, you can be losing strength. So it is imperative to become stabilized as soon as possible in red X, large meat, red X, large meat. Otherwise you will be losing strength. You can cut down some trees while you're unhealthy, but it's hard to know exactly what your tree counter is at, and I have more information on in the other video was in depth. At this moment, basically avoid cutting down as many trees as possible when you have an up or down arrow, and go nuts when you have it to the right, especially when you have that red X large meat thing down. If you're infected or you have food poisoning, use an aloe, eat it, and it'll remove those. They don't help, they're gonna mess things up. But in order to avoid them in the future, just wash blood off yourself, because if you're in combat and you're bloody, you have a chance of being infected. If you eat cannibals or you eat spoiled stuff, you have a chance of having food poisoning. So clean yourself and only eat the meat as I've directed, and you'll be fine in that department. Now basically, in order to gain strength, once you have stabilized weight, the arrow to the right, not up or down, you can cut down trees to your heart's content. Just make sure to stay on top of your diet. Once you have an up arrow on strength, you can go do other things if you'd like. However, you can continue to cut down trees and you'll be fine as long as you're managing your weight. So basically, arrow to the right, go cut down trees until you get your strength up, but mostly just build really big projects and you'll never have to worry about it. And it's going to be it's a very contained cycle that way. As long as you have things you want to build, your strength is going to be going up and you're going to be eating on time all the time. The longer you do this, the easier it's going to happen. My hard mode series is proof of the system working in action. And what I recommend is when you go into caves, bring 2 dried meat. Now when you're near your base, I wouldn't bring very many dried meat with you because you'll want to make sure to be able to kill a lizard, for example, when you're running by and bring that meat back home. That way you're not running out of meat. Keep an eye on your drying rack. Make sure you always have a surplus. When you have a surplus, this system's super easy. Now for athleticism, there's 2 options to level your athleticism. Simply you can go underwater without a rebreather. While you have the breath meter up, every 25 minutes you can get 1 athleticism point. This is cumulative time, it doesn't have to be in one setting, of course, because you would die if you did spend 25 minutes underwater, and it increases how long you can stay underwater in future iterations, of course, without a rebreather. The other way is when you sprint around for an hour and about a little bit more than a half, you can get an athleticism point, cumulative as well. These times do not combine together, and that one will change how long you can sprint. It does nothing else, doesn't give you more energy or anything like that. Now, a very common issue that I find is people follow the diet perfectly, but they go to sleep slightly hungry. You want to go to sleep full, because if you go to sleep slightly hungry, you'll start getting negative points. You chop down 9 or more trees, you didn't realize that your weight was going down, your diet's not balanced anymore, and you're losing strength. So whenever you want to go to sleep, you want to go to sleep full. Don't overeat to do that though. So you want to plan your sleeping around the next time you eat. So if you see it's getting nighttime, you see your red X is almost coming up, don't go to sleep yet. Wait till the red X pops up, eat. Make sure you have a dried meat in your inventory so when you wake up you can eat again. And just go to sleep after that point. So you'll barely have that red X staring at you. For a little bit of time, the red X is okay, it's not end of the world. But if you keep that there for a long time or you go to sleep with a red X, you're absolutely going to have issues later, unless you have a super stabilized diet. I've noticed the longer you're stabilized, the harder it is to mess things up. The same can be said about when you're all in chaos. So if you're unhealthy for a very long time, it's almost worth it just to start over again, unless it's a single player game that you've had a lot of work on. But it's going to be quite a challenge to climb out of that hole. But simply put, eat a large meat when you have a red X, go to sleep full, don't force yourself to be full before you go to sleep. Take care of your infection, make sure you don't have food sickness, run everywhere you can and try to use the rebreather as little as possible. And that'll be making you have a healthy character. Hopefully this guide helped out. Thank you for making it this far. If you like this video, make sure to check out my other ones. And as always, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.